Hi guys, it's Kelly. You're probably going to hear my kids in the background. Sorry about that. But hey, I just discovered something tonight. I was inspired by the Gentleman Crafter. I think his name is Jim. Great guy. So glad I found him. So hi Jim, if you're watching. He makes these awesome leaves, and I think he was inspired by Fiona Jennings. Oh gosh. Oh, I can't remember. But he did mention Fiona in his video saying, oh hey, I got this from her, and he uses some putty or some, oh shoot, you know what, I'll put the link in there for him. But I thought, you know what, I want to try those, but I didn't have molding clay is what he used. I didn't have molding clay, and I first thought, well cool, then I'll just use some gesso, but it takes forever to dry, and I am a very impatient scrapper. So I decided to try something else, and this is what I came up with, and I'm so in love with these, I can't even tell you. They shine, and they're beautiful, and they look so real. That's the back of it. That one didn't turn out as well as I had hoped, but the front of it is amazing. I'm trying to get it to focus. Come on, focus on the leaf, not my nails. There we go. I think it's working. But these, seriously, the video does not do them justice. And if you've picked up leaves before, they've been sticky. These are not sticky, but they have that stickiness to them that has a shine. And I just love how these turned out. So I want to show you how I did them. And again, the Gentleman Crafter was the one who inspired me to try something new. And here they are. So how I did them is so simple. There's some more I'm just showing them. This is a really crazy one. Obviously it doesn't look real. Leaves don't come like that, but I still thought that was kind of a cool element, and I might be able to use it in something. There you go. So all these, put these aside. So how I made these, I used my Cricut Imagine, and I used an old cartridge. I used Stretch Your Imagination, and on there's a couple leaves. There's one leaf. I don't remember the page. If you have the cartridge, check it out. But that is what I used to cut these, and I cut them from some heavy cardstock, and I followed Jim. I followed his kind of pattern. He used manila folders to cut his. I just used really heavy cardstock that's pretty much the same color because I wanted it not white, it needed to be off-white. So this worked out perfectly. So I cut some different sizes. Hopefully you can see that on my Cricut. And then what I do is I use this clear embossing ink, and hopefully I'm going to stay in the screen here because I need to sit to do this because I have a funky setup for my videos. So I'm using the clear I have this sticker on here, it's so funny. The a la mode clear embossing powder. Jim had used the ultra thick embossing powder, and I have some of that, but I wanted to try it with something a little not so heavy. So I wanted to see how it would turn out. So here we go. So all I do, yeah, I'm in there. I'll just do one for now. Well, I'll do two. Super simple, and it only takes a minute. So I just rub this on there. I kind of like to dot it on there because then it leaves a little bit more of it, and then I get the bubbling that I like. Most people don't like that bubbling when you heat something up, and in this it's working out really well. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it in my powder, messing around in there. It's starting to bend because the paper, you know, when it gets wet it does that. And there it is. And then I'll do this one, and I like to do a few at a time because when you put your alcohol inks, by the way, I use alcohol inks, when you put your inks on there, some of it spills off, and I want to be able to reuse it. And that was one of the things. Jim had used the distressed ink, which I love, but he had the droppers. I don't have those. So I had to get creative and find something different. Whoops. Gets messy. So there we go. And then I just heat them up. Oops. and you probably can't see it in video, but I'll show you in a minute here. It's starting to bubble a little bit. But it has some bumps on it, which is great because it looks like the sap or whatever it is. You know, I'm not a major nature person. There we go. So let them cool. You know the rule here, don't get burned. But it gets some bubbles on it, and I think that's what helps make it get kind of shiny and gives it some texture. And not too much texture to make it too heavy, just enough. Okay. And obviously you can use whatever colors you guys want to use, but the colors that I've been using, got to be careful with this green because it kind of, for some reason this one starts to overpower everything else. But I'm using Meadow, Butterscotch, Caramel, Currant, and Wild Plum, and then of course some blending solution. Definitely need that. And none of these turn out the same. They're always different. I'm going to bring this up close so you can see. Gosh, I'm not focusing well. My lighting is not good. But there you can see how it gets a little bit shiny, and there's some bubbles in there. And it has texture to it. It's not just a real simple a real glossy finish. It's rough, just like it should be. And it kind of bleeds into both sides, so if you're using it on something where you don't want to hide the back, it works out pretty well. So the embossing powder leaked through those lines that were cut from the image, or it's not an image, die cut, whatever you want to call it. There you go. So you can see what that looks like. Okay, and then I start messing with colors. I like caramel. Got them in there. Just like Jim did, I just dotted around just like he did the distressed droppers that he used. This Wild Plum, can't use too much. And if you can see how it gets in those little lines and starts bleeding out. I hold off to the green. I learned that the hard way. I'll do the green at the end. Just dots here and there. Actually, if I remember right, I just did it. I gotta mix the green with another dark color so it doesn't overpower. Then I throw some blending solution on there. Oops. And I flip it over and make a huge mess. And looks like this one's turned out really, really, oh, I love it. I still love it. Okay. This one's going to need a little bit more. If it needs more, you don't need to waste your ink. Just throw some blending solution down just a little bit and swirl it around. Ooh, these are like really red, and they turned out really cool. Okay. So there's that. Am I still? Yep, I'm in this green. I want a little bit more brown in this one. Just a little bit. You see, you can just keep adding it until you want to. If you keep adding too much, it's just going to wind up. I'm going to leave that just like that. And see how that works out. Interesting. There's one little spot on there. I'm trying to get it to soak up some of the stuff. And that's the back of it. I'm okay if it looks a little off. Ooh, I like that. Okay. So now, am I still trying to make sure I stay in? Now I'm actually going to heat it again. This is where the cool magic starts. And I'm going to try and zoom in as much as I can. I gotta move my tripod. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy. Okay. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see how it's activating the embossing powder again, and it's bubbling up again. It's not actually burning. Well, that wasn't very smart. It's shining it up and soaking that alcohol ink into it. Ooh, it's a hot one. That one's kind of cool. I like that. Oh, it's not quite as shiny, but it's perfect. Okay. Oh, they're good. Let me zoom back out. So, well, hopefully it looks like you guys can see them pretty good. So there they are. It's got a little bit of shine all around the edges there. It's still got your... And if I wanted to, I could put some more embossing powder in there if I wanted to, and add more ink. But I love it. It looks completely natural, like a real leaf. And I wonder what would happen if I wrinkled it up. Let's see. Made it look like it got run over. And maybe crack the embossing stuff. Not sure about that. Maybe I would sand it, or I could probably just rip one off and have two leaves. And I could use that as an embellishment too. Leaves get ripped. But anyway, so wrecked that one, but that's okay. They get messed up and they get roughed up. And then here's this one. That one has a little bit more shine to it. Really, really dark one. I love that one. The back still, obviously it's not, but it still looks cool how that turns out. So there you go. And most people have some kind of, obviously you don't have to have this clear embossing ink. You can use Versamark, and so many people have that, real popular. This was super cheap if I remember right at Michael's, so I just grabbed that. I've had that for a while. I didn't go out and buy anything to do this. I had everything already. And then again, all the alcohol inks. The other way to do it would be to use, if you have the, just like Jim does it, the distress ink. So there you go. And here's some of the other ones up close. You can see all the ones I've done tonight. These ones I have. There's not a single one that's the same. And this is an example of how that green really saturated it. It really went through. It still looks really cool, but it kind of saturated. And when you reheat it, you get these little lines. I don't know if you see. It kind of bubbles up there. The ink, it's like it reactivates with the embossing powder or something. Really cool. Here's one. I think this one right here is my favorite. Yeah, I like that one the best so far. So I'll probably make a whole bunch more tonight. I wanted to share that with you. Cool technique that I discovered. Well, I didn't discover it. I was inspired again by the Gentleman Crafter. And I will try and get this uploaded with everyone's link. I usually have to upload it and then put the links on there afterwards. So if it's not on there immediately, I am working on it. And it looks like I slit somebody's throat here or something with my ink thing. Anyway, thank you. Hope you play with it. If you do, share with me and let me know what you came up with. And if you come up with something different, that would be great. Thanks. Bye.